it's obviously showing that we didn't spend a whole lot of time, so I'd like to do that now. You've also come to realize that all of your groups have certain personalities. Some work well together and some not so much. Somebody wants to lead and somebody else doesn't think that they should be in charge, and that's always exciting. And now you know what it's like in the real world too. Same thing happens. So that's why we're trying to simulate what's actually going to happen later in life. You get a job at Walmart, you get a job at Dairy Queen, same thing's going to happen. Man, that dude is pathetic. He just sits there and doesn't do anything. And I'm trying to do all his work for him. Well, guess what? You are grading that person, so you don't have to stress it too much. So once you think you have all yours lined up, what we're going to do is we're going to slide them down to one end, and we're going to check your measurements, because out here in the middle, a board may move. But when you bring them all to the side, there's only one possible way for it to line up. So how do we look on that end? Do we have a gap or not? Do you have a gap right here?
Yeah.
We have about an 1/8" gap on that side. So I'm going to slide this that direction. Push your finger there, Justin. Let me know when it's ready. Okay, so these lines line up really well. So it looks like they did really well. It's just this last one was cut an 1/8" shy. So they did a good job on that. They're just going to have to switch this one out later for a little bit longer one. Remember, when you're cutting on the chop saw, what is the smallest piece you can cut on the chop saw?
6 inches.
6 inches. So how on earth do we cut a 1 7/8 piece out?
Use another piece of wood.
Cheyenne had it right. I'm going to take a longer piece and I'm going to mark it at 1 7/8, and then I'm going to hold this long section that's longer than 6 inches, and I'm going to cut off, and this one's not going to fly anywhere because there's no pressure against it. So I'm going to actually, once I mark it with a pencil and a tape measure, I'm actually going to bring the blade down, check it, make sure I've got exactly the measurement I need, and then cut it off. And this is going to be the piece that I want on this side, not the piece. I'm not going to use the miter gauge. Did I completely confuse you guys, or does that make sense? Okay, so we always have to have 6 inches to hold on to. Otherwise, somebody here, we won't point them out, nominated themselves, because it will cut really small and then there's nothing to grab onto in your piece goes up and turns into a butterfly, a magical butterfly, and it disappears and flies away. You can reef them out of splinters. So, always going to cut those short ones off of a longer piece. So, they otherwise have this set up correctly. So the next thing, you can see this group already did, they put one nail into each, right above every line. Now you can do 2 nails if you want. I have groups that do 2 nails, and that's just fine. If it starts splintering, then you need to go back to 1. The reason I let you get away with just 1 is because these will rotate with 1, but we're going to put plywood on top and we're going to nail down into it afterwards, and that will hold it. So usually, like on real framing, we would want to put at least 2 nails in there. If it's a 2x4, 3 nails if it's a 2x6. But when it's this small, we can get away because we're going to nail down into it afterwards.
Like the one that you did over there.
Yes. So if you want to, you can do 1 nail. It's not going to be as strong, but I'm worried that if you do 2, sometimes it splits. It depends how dry the wood is. This right here is wet enough, you'll be able to put 2 nails in. So I'll let you guys decide. If you're like gung-ho about nailing, put 2 in, it's going to make it stronger. If you're not so much. Once you get this set up, once you get this set up, we're going to just move this one. We need to lay out the blocking. We're just going to say that this one's right for right now, even though it's not. A few of you have messed up already where you put the blocking. Is this where the blocking goes? It's not. You need to look at your layout, and the line 1.25 inch actually goes to the outside edge. So this first one will be going to this side of the line, and the next one goes to that side of the line. And then they alternate going down. Does that make sense? So they're on the outsides of these lines. That's why keeping track of the blueprints is really important. If you would have just stayed on the center of the lines like this, you would have done it wrong. So you need to make sure you're checking the blueprints every time. So this is how we're going to nail it. Now, what do we nail first? Do we nail all these edges in and then nail this?
Yeah.
You guys are watching my face, you're not thinking about it. Okay, what would happen if I were to nail all these
Oh.
and then try and nail this one in right here? How would I nail this one in? Is it important which way you nail it first? Is it important the order that you nail? It is. You have to think about these. Whenever I'm framing a window, I frame the window first and then I move out from there. Because otherwise, if I do the walls first, then I can't nail the inside very easy. So on something like this, I can take this apart and I can nail something like this first. And if I nail this first and flip it over and nail that in and then put it back in here, now it's really easy to nail this way. So this is the critical one right here. This one right here, nailing this one in is critical. Everything else, we can turn our hammer sideways and we can put our hammer in here sideways to nail something in. That's okay, it's metal on the side too, works the same. Otherwise, if you want to, you can start from the inside, nail these, and then flip this, but it gets really awkward really fast. How do you nail this one in? If these are nailed, you stand it up and you rotate this one and try and put it. It's a puzzle. You guys are gonna have to figure it out. Yep. So if you want to come to me, I will help you and I'll give you advice, but this is a learning experience, so I want you to have to think through what's going to be the best way. I have had students just nail these two together and then nail everything else on the sides and then stand it up and nail it. To me, that seems pretty fast. I have had other groups that have nailed all this inside stuff together first and then they put the outsides on. I don't care. You're going to have to think, you're going to have to do a management system and with your group and figure out which way is best. Okay, two last things. Nails are a pet peeve of mine. Okay? For some reason, when you're talking to other people, it's really easy to get really motivated about the story that happened last weekend. You guys know prom was last weekend? You know I was there at prom? It was the most exciting. So I was there, and I was standing at the back, and what just happened?
You weren't looking.
I was getting into my story and I wasn't thinking about what I was doing and I started putting a nail in my table. And I came out, I had a kid when I was teaching medicine and I was looking across the classroom and I could see he was all getting excited about the story and what he'd done over the weekend and he took a hammer and he just started putting that nail in the table. And I went jogging over there. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And his finger is still on the nail and his hand is on the hammer. And he goes, what? I said, you're putting a nail in my table. And he looks down. That wasn't me. He's still holding it. Was it him? He didn't think so. Because he was so into his story. And I understand that. That happens. I don't know if you guys start thinking about the hereafter. You walk downstairs and you're like, what was the hereafter anyway? Okay, it does happen really easily. So please watch out for yourselves. Watch out for your group. Please don't put any more nails in my table. And the worst one is throwing nails. Okay? I've done this story before. Aaron and I had a really good, strong story about this. You take it and you decide this is a bent nail, it's going to go in the garbage can, and you chuck it. And right as you chuck it, Mackenzie walks out of the classroom and it tags her in the eye. Mackenzie is now going to be blind for the rest of her life because you thought it was cool to throw a nail. There is no way you can forgive yourself. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. I'm starting to tear up right now. Okay, there is no way in 10, 15, 20 years you can forgive yourself for making somebody go blind. Okay, so it actually is serious. Do not throw nails. I will send you out of the classroom or I will fire you. If you get fired, you go sit on the stairs for a while. It's kind of like the old dunce, but this is a little bit more serious. It just means in the group you were in, you just got fired. And you can, after a day, come back. But if you do something stupid enough to get fired, it was pretty stupid. Any questions? All right. This is a tense moment. Be strong.
Okay.